We've got a problem. And the more I think about it, I think it's a you problem. And it's not the type of thing that you want to hear about, but I think that you should listen to it. And if you saw the title of this video, you may have been going, this is not what I expected when I clicked on this. But hear me out. Here's the deal. The internet is constantly trying to tell you things like I'm trying to do right now. And it's always this or that. You have to choose what I'm saying or what someone else is saying. And everyone is making a passionate case, and it's all black and white. And anybody with any knowledge of the way the world works understands that's not the way things actually work in the real world. So why do we have this disconnect? Why, when I want music advice, you have someone say, do this exercise, never do that exercise. I'm going for fitness advice. Always do long length and partials. Never do long length and partials. Only full ROM. Full ROM is awesome. Full ROM is dead. Go to failure. Don't go to failure. All these different ideas in every single thing we do. Where is that coming from? How does that work? Is that good? Is that bad? I'm going to address that right now. And I had this realization because I was trying to give some advice to one of my lovely, lovely followers. He comments a lot on my stuff. I'm going to shout him out right now, Chopin enthusiast. And he was asking for advice on how to write a happy melody in the style of like Kirby music or Kapustin, modern happy, not like old school classical happy. And I threw out upper extensions. If you know anything about music, you know that upper extensions are referring to notes beyond the seventh. So the ninth, the 11th, the 13th, the 7th is also kind of thrown in there sometimes too. And these notes are very shimmery, they're very bright, and they're also very potentially dissonant. They're very, colorful, but they can kind of go wrong really fast. And so he kind of took me very literally when I told him this. And he immediately was like, well, that would be weird if I did all upper extensions. And I realized I had hyperbolized, if that's even a word. I had exaggerated what I was trying to say. And he had taken me at my exaggerated word. And it kind of created this pause moment for a second where I realized this was an absurd conversation we were having, but it's the same absurd conversation everyone has on the internet. Let me explain. When you are trying to make a point on the internet, you have to be extreme. Why? There is a massive barrier between me and you right now. There is a camera. I'm talking to a camera. Then that gets into bits, zeros and ones. Those zeros and ones go through YouTube, another platform. They get processed. Then it goes on your screen. And then that screen gets processed to you. So all of that creates distance. And with distance means the message gets toned down. So how do I make that message crisp and make sure you pay attention? Well, I make it as obvious as possible. Only do this. Never do that. What's the problem with that? That's not how the real world actually works. In general, almost everything is a little bit of this or that. It's, you know what, you might try that. This might be better for you. This might be worse for you. It's very personal. It's very relative. But if I came at education that way and talking about things that way, maybe try this, maybe a little bit of that. That's more true, but it's not going to move anybody. And the analogy I came up with is in many ways, we're kind of trying to steer a cultural ship, a Titanic, if you will. Maybe that's a terrible analogy. Let's just say an oil tanker, right? Well, those also sink. Let's just say a really, really big ship, okay? We're on a really, really big ship, and we're going across the ocean. If you wanted to turn that sucker, you need to know hours ahead of time, and you do a lot of work. You're putting in a ton of energy. You're rolling that wheel over like it's nobody's business, and then you go like this. That's all how far you just turn from all that effort, right? And then you keep turning, and then over time, after many hours, you're actually going in a different direction. That is how culture works, and that's how the internet works and opinions work. Unlike, say, in your car and in your own brain, where you're just steering along and you're like, I think I'll do that. And then you just turn the wheel the littlest bit, and then you're over somewhere else. Now, where we run into trouble is not everyone. Okay, sorry. Let me back up for a second. Where we run into trouble is culturally, everyone collectively is like a big ocean liner, but everyone individually is like driving their own car. And so if I hit somebody the wrong way, either right or wrong opinion, they just go, and then they're off another direction. And that can cause some really, really bad consequences. So why did I start the video by saying it's your fault? It's because at the end of the day, it really has to fall upon each individual one of us watching these videos and making up our own opinion. When someone says, only do this, what other signifiers, information is there out there that you can take in and understand as a whole? Is this a 10-second clip? Is this a 2-minute clip? Is this a 10-minute clip? Is this something offhand somebody said? All of these things actually do matter. I know the internet wants to act like context is irrelevant and everything is just a definitive statement no matter how someone said it. Even if someone says, I never do this, you just cut out the I never and then just have the statement do this, and then it's true, right? No, context actually matters. So I would say develop that taste and develop that own opinion. When somebody says, I generally love doing pull-ups. They're a great exercise for me. They help build a lot of muscle. And you think to yourself, pull-ups are okay, but they always hurt my joints. Well, neither of you is wrong. You can just be like, hey, I don't want to do pull-ups. Same with music. Someone might go, you know what? I love 7th chords. They get so much out of it. It's so much color. It really makes what I play shine. And you're like, I'm just not as into them as this person. A lot of it really is taste and personal preference. And also, there are many paths to get to where you want to be in the arts, in physical fitness, in so many of these different things we love on the internet. So my final point is, we're not going to tone down anybody on the internet. So instead of trying to tone them down, try to tone up your ability to discern and to make up your own mind. Thank you so much. I'm Robert Monroe. If you like this type of video, like, subscribe. Really appreciate it. Until next time, take a wonderful weekend. Peace out.